Vice Chancellor, Professor Dili Dogo, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Salih Abdullahi, members of the University Governing Council, distinguished professors and members of the Senate, deans and heads of departments, members of the university management, distinguished guests, members of the diplomatic and academic communities, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my pleasure, on behalf of the management, to welcome you to the 8th Inaugural Lecture of Nile University of Nigeria. We are particularly delighted by your presence as we gather to celebrate scholarship, intellectual achievement, and the contribution of the university to the advancement of knowledge and society. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we shall now have the welcome address by the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Dili Dogo, to deliver the welcome address.
Let me, on behalf of management of Nile University of Nigeria, Abuja, warmly welcome you to the 8th Inaugural Lecture of Nile University, titled Sensing the Unsensible. How machines whisper their secrets before they break down. Of course, to deliver this lecture, we have a very learned, very well-skilled gentleman, a man that takes work as pleasure, a man that seriously takes research and scholarship as part of his journey in life, a man that has impacted heavily on our students and the faculty, Professor Sadiq Thomas, to deliver the lecture. This lecture is very important, especially as we move forward into the age of AI, at a time where perhaps even before we know that something is getting wrong, the signals will be louder than just a whisper. But over the years, it has been everybody's understanding that before a catastrophe, usually there is a signal. Some are sensible, some are audible, some are not. Today, this distinguished lecturer seeks to share with us his journey in the academic pathways, his experience, his research output, as well as areas he has impacted positively.
Professor Sadiq Thomas belongs to that rare breed of academics whose intellectual curiosity has consistently translated into impactful scholarship, institutional development, and professional excellence. A distinguished professor of computer engineering, Professor Thomas has spent over a decade and a half building bridges between theory and practice, research and innovation, local relevance, and global impact, becoming one of the leading figures in his discipline and a respected voice within the Nigerian academic landscape. It is therefore with great pride and immense pleasure that I present to this distinguished audience our 8th Inaugural Lecturer, a scholar, a researcher, a mentor, an innovator, an administrator, the Professor of Computer Engineering, Professor Sadiq Thomas, for his inaugural lecture. Professor.
So my topic is sensing the unsensible and how machines whisper their secrets before they break. So basically, understanding the theme, sensing the unsensible. We all live in a mechanic world where we have lots of machines, both civil engineering, computer engineering, electrical, all the machines we have currently, they practically have a time until they break. So we don't necessarily need to wait until they break. Before they break, certain noises are being made, certain noises are being whispered, and let's go just to the basics. Our cars, especially like my uncle says, I drive my car till the end. So basically, as I said, non-destructive testing, these are the mechanical ways of finding out defects in materials. So we have lots of common methods. We have the radiography testing, ultrasonics, MPI, liquid penetrant, and eddy current. So those are the regular testings that are usually being used. But the most common one is the ultrasonic testing. But with that, you need a coupling material to actually place the transducer on the machine before the defects can be located. So sometimes you don't really have easy access to the surface of the material. So that's where my topic now came in. Yeah, so just for conclusion, by integrating the multi-physics 5-element models with autonomous robotics forms, we teach our infrastructure to look out for itself, where a pipeline whispers its fatigue, and an airframe signals its stress before disaster strikes. So yes, moving Nigeria to a reactive maintenance culture, to a cognitive and predictive paradigms, we are teaching our machines to speak, and more importantly, we all need to learn to listen. All of you, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I think we had it all. Certainly, Professor Sadiq is an erudite researcher. He's touched on virtually everything we need to know in contemporary science and engineering. And I can tell you that here in Nile University, he has the opportunity to actualize a lot of the researches he's proposing. And I believe Nigeria will be happy for it. Professor Sadiq, congratulations.